Okay, again, technology and media design course. We are going to discuss about multimedia development process. This is a very important topic, especially if you are someone who's interested to develop an application, for example, or to develop a teaching material. Okay, it's important for you to know the development process, on which model to use, or which model might be suitable to use. Okay, we are going to look further into this. The contents, we'll talk about instructional design model. Highlights would be one of the model, ADDIE model, which has been widely used, okay, by many researchers, teachers, instructional developers. Okay, we'll have a look at it. So we talk about instructional design model. Just now I've mentioned, okay, it is used to strategize or to plan in a way, on how your outcome or your application going to look like. Okay, the end product. Before you arrive to the end product, you need to have plan or strategy on how to produce the product. So instructional design model in a way play important role in that. Okay, it's actually a systematic process, all right, and it is a tool for you as the developer, okay, to follow, so that every steps are fulfilled and more quality or better outcome you will produce at the end of the day. Okay, example, we have many models, instructional design model. We have ADDIE, Assure, Dig and Carry, Hannafin and Pack, Waterfall, Rapid Prototype, you name it, a lot. Okay, you can choose to use any of these models depending on your situation. Okay, depending on the needs of the project you're handling. Let's look into that further. So when you look into ADDIE model, before you develop an application, okay, let's say an app, mobile apps, okay. So before you develop the apps, it's important for you to first analyze ADDIE for analyze, and then you go to the next process, design. After you designed, you can evaluate at the same time, and then you start to develop using software, and finally once it's completed, you can implement and test the mobile apps, okay, with your audience. There's a process of doing this. So all these instructional models, they guide you on how to do it, and it can become a checklist whether you have undergo all of these processes to make sure or to control the quality of your final product. Hannafin and Pack's the same. They all contain similar process. Okay, it's just that the way you do it. If ADDIE previously, when it was first introduced, you don't see this what you call process of interaction where you can move from design to evaluation back to design. It's just a plain circle from ADDIE, like that. But these days they have modified, the model becomes better, where you can actually move from every process to another. Okay, it is more dynamic. For example, when you analyze, you can evaluate at the same time. You analyze again, then only you move to design, and once you have design, you want to evaluate your design first. You can move back and forth, with ADDIE. So same goes with Hannafin and Pack. Once you start, you need to do the needs analysis. You analyze your audience, who's going to use the mobile apps, right? You continue to evaluate and revise, and then only you move to phase 2, where you start to design the apps, perhaps through sketches first, how it's going to look like. You have a storyline. You evaluate and revise again, and then you move to the next phase on development. So this is Hannafin and Pack. A lot of models. Assure, used a lot in classroom. You analyze learner, you state the objective of learning, you select the best method to teach, for example, what media to use, material to use while teaching your students, okay? And then you utilize the media and materials that you have chosen, and you make the learner participate in the learning process that you have designed. And finally, you shall evaluate and revise whether the method that you've used really had an impact or not, okay? So this is a sure model where normally they use in a classroom for teaching and learning process, okay? It can be used also for developing learning materials, okay? It's really is up to you. And back to ADDIE model, as you can see here, right? I've explained the process just now. You have to undergo all of these stages of analysis, design, development, implement, and evaluate, okay? So when you talk about analysis, you have to do a lot of discussion, brainstorming with your team. Let's say you want to just now develop a mobile apps, for secondary school students, okay, let's say. So you need to know who they are, okay, where they're from, how do they communicate with each other in school until up to the extent, and what sort of learning objective you want to achieve. Let's say you want to teach mathematics through the mobile apps, you need to know also why you develop this. Do they have problem with performance, engagement, if they have problem with engagement. So when you design your mobile apps, you need to make sure that later the mobile apps able to engage them throughout the learning process, So a lot of analysis at this stage. And then when it comes to design, once you have all the data, you know your audience well, then only you will start to sketch, or you start to draft your storyboard. Okay, for example, how will the content of the mobile apps looks like, right? You will start to draw perhaps from one page to another page, what will happen. Let's say in the mobile apps, there are 3 levels that they have to achieve before they can really master a topic, a mathematics topic, So you start to design. In level 1, what happened, in level 2, what happened, in level 3, what happened, and so forth, yeah? So this is the phase where you do that. Once you are clear about the storyline, and you have that idea how it's going to look like, you start to develop. So here you have to use authoring tool or certain software to develop whatever you have planned, whatever you have designed just now. Yeah, you start to develop using all the software or application authoring tools. Okay. You need, normally, of course, we need a multimedia development team to do this. This is not a one-man show, especially those commercialized application, okay? You need a team to do it. You need, for example, executive producer, script writer, creative director, and so forth, a lot. Multimedia development team, not only for developing apps or application, it can go beyond, even up to film production, like the Hollywood. So before they come out with a movie, they have a team as such to work together and produce the movie. So these are all the roles they have. And like I said, depending on the size of the project, so sometimes you have a very small project. You don't have enough resources, financial, to have so many people in the team. So you might have to play like 2 or 3 roles at a time. You may become the producer, at the same time you are also the creative director and multimedia designer. It can be such, okay? So depending on the size of the project. Okay. Okay, this is just a multimedia what they call approach they use, or application where you can use Microsoft Word front page. Dreamweaver is a bit high end. You know, you can involve the use of scripting languages. Okay, all this involves skills of your team members as well. So you need people with programming skills, you know, sometimes, and you need those with basic and advanced skills as well. You may have to look into this. Okay, at phase 4, when it comes to implementation, you know, you need to do prototyping. It's important for you to do prototyping when you develop certain apps, material, or whatever it is, just to get feedback on its effect. Okay, what are the areas that require improvement, so at least you know before you launch the final product. Okay, so prototyping really helps in that sense. You know, you get user to try out your prototype before and get their feedback, make refinement, and then further improve, and then only you come out with the final product. So that's implementation. Once you apply, you need to test and evaluate, of course, just like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. Before they launch their final product, of course they will select, you know, a certain audience to try it out first, get their feedback, and then they continue to improvise the Microsoft softwares. Yeah, this is testing and evaluation. So there's two types: formative and summative assessment. So you can do formative, where you evaluate or you at every phase, and then finally you do the final evaluation, which is a summative assessment at the end of the process. Okay, multimedia authoring tool that you can use a lot, anything, you know, to develop a teaching material. For example, you can use Flash, PowerPoint, Camtasia, so many other softwares. Okay, it's really up to you. Even the one that I'm using now is Loom. Okay, there are a lot free softwares as well out there. Okay, that's about it. Most importantly just now is the instructional design model. So choose whichever type of model suitable for the type of project you're managing. Do consider the time consumed as well. Sometimes if you don't have enough time, perhaps you can't use ADDIE, you might have to use other type of models. Okay, things to consider. Do take note on that. Thank you.